So we will be trying to simulcast this meeting on Zoom for any citizens who would like to continue attending from home for either safety reasons, scheduling reasons. So be prepared that our next meeting will not be conducted the same as this one. The commissioners will have to be returning to the police station, commission chambers for the meeting. And citizens are still welcome to attend in person if they wish. I'm pleased to report that the city of Red Bank had no reported workman's comp cases in 2020. This is a credit to our city manager, our department heads, and foremost our city employees for their ongoing dedication to safety training and awareness on the job. Not only can we celebrate that no city employees were injured on the job last year, but this commitment to safety also saves the taxpayers money, as workers' comp insurance is one of the city's major expenses, and safety records like this one help us keep rates low. So well done to all of our city employees. Just a brief reminder that the recycling survey is live. Just want to remind everyone to respond to that. If you haven't already, reach out to your friends and neighbors and share it with them. Make sure that we get as many responses as possible and as accurate a picture as possible of the demand that we have in the city for curbside recycling. I have noticed some frequent questions. The recycling center in Red Bank is run by Hamilton County, so it is likely to continue even if we do start offering curbside recycling. The cans are also optional, so you actually have to, the way the program is currently proposed, a citizen would have to request a recycling can if they would like to have one. If you do not want a recycling can, they will not be automatically delivered. So if you want to continue using the recycling center and taking your own, and you don't want to deal with a second can for any reason, we invite you to do so. I have some most exciting news. I just found out 2 hours ago that Hamilton County and state of Tennessee have started moving into phase 1B of COVID vaccinations. That's really exciting because that opens it up to school teachers, K through 12, as well as anyone over the age of 65. So that's a huge percentage of more of our population that will now be eligible. They will not be starting those until February 22nd. But that is coming up here pretty quickly. So we have a light at the end of the tunnel for our beloved teachers. The next Red Bank Community Food Pantry will be Thursday, February 18th from 4:30 to 6:36. That's this Thursday at the Red Bank United Methodist Church. It's a drive-through. This month, Red Bank Baptist is also giving away food boxes on February 22nd and 27th, starting at 9 a.m. So there's a lot of opportunities if you or a neighbor needs food. All right, and now we will move on to Vice Mayor Dalton's report.
Thank you, Mayor Barry. Glad to see everyone tonight. Just want to say I really appreciate everyone continuing to show up and be invested in what's going on in our community. I want to thank all the citizens who continue to reach out and share comments and ideas with me. I'm hearing overwhelming support of a curbside recycling program and support for improved library access. I've also had several citizens express interest in a food truck park, support in updating the alcohol ordinances, which are still being reviewed, and support of the no-mow pollinator habitat zones that Mayor Barry discussed at the last agenda work session meeting on the 2nd. I and my 5-year-old son walked around and observed the areas that Mayor Barry proposed at our last meeting as potential no-mow zones, both in the early morning and at sunset. And I have to say, I'm absolutely in support of a trial run of these spaces as improved pollinator habitat zones. I know Commissioners Phillips and Janeau voiced concerns about seeing more wildlife predators in the middle of the night, and that being a potential issue. I don't know that I'm concerned about those issues impacting daytime use of the parks and green spaces, which is the only time they're open to the public. So I hope we can continue that conversation. Next, after being contacted by concerned citizens and a news reporter in the community, I was able to speak with the resident who was recently cited for having a potbelly pig on her property. The resident works in the veterinary field and rescued Pickles the potbelly pig approximately 7 years ago to live with her here in Red Bank. The resident's own neighbors also love Pickles and help take care of her. The resident was recently cited after a code enforcement drive-by, not a neighbor complaint. And upon further discussion with the city manager, it was determined that through our contract with McCamey Animal Shelter, we do have an ordinance in place that allows miniature African pigs and potbelly pigs in Red Bank as house pets. I notified the resident of the ordinance allowing her potbelly pig to remain on her property as a house pet, and she was overjoyed. Thanks to everyone who reached out to me with concerns about the situation, and I'm so glad that we were able to keep Pickles as a resident of Red Bank. Next, I want to mention that Lauren Bruce, a Red Bank citizen who works at both Red Bank Elementary School and the middle school, reached out to me about a wonderful senior couple that picks up trash along Mountain Creek Road almost every afternoon. And although Mountain Creek Road isn't in Red Bank Elementary School is one of our schools and is in that area. And so I just wanted to thank them for helping to keep that neighborhood clean. From our local schools, I had an email about the Red Bank High School baseball program starting their 2021 fundraiser for the upcoming season. And this was from Coach Phillips, and he just asked that even just a simple $20 donation will go a long way to ensure maintenance of the field, equipment, and meeting player needs. And I have a link that I will try to share if anyone is interested in that. And lastly, Dr. Weiss, the principal at Alpine Crest, just didn't have any announcements, but wanted me to express that everyone there is so happy to be able to be back safely in school right now. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor Dalton. Moving on to Commissioner Janeau's report.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all. Got just a few things, not a lot. I'd like to expand on Holly's Red Bank Baptist food box giveaway. That will begin at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then on behalf of the city of Red Bank and myself, I'd like to send our deepest condolences to former Red Bank Commissioner Ken Welch's family. Ken passed away January the 23rd. His service was today at the National Cemetery. For those of you who don't know Ken, he was very community oriented. He volunteered his time and his services to many projects in the city. He served on the Red Bank City Commission. He served on the Red Bank Swimming Pool Board. He spent a lot of time and effort to keep that place maintained, and he helped save it. Because several years ago we were at the verge of losing it. He'll be remembered for his kind heart, for his love of his family, and for the love of our community. I just think that he'll deeply be missed by all who knew him. And Friday morning, February the 12th, Tennessee Treasurer David Lillard, State Finance Chairman Patsy Hazelwood, Senator Bo Watson, and State Representative Robin Smith came to Red Bank to present the city with a check that they found in the unclaimed property funds. I'd like to thank Patsy Hazelwood for personally inviting me, and I was really disappointed that none of the other commissioners were there. I don't know how that slipped through that they were not invited, and I just think that was a oversight of someone, don't know who, but I think that anytime that the state officials show up and show any kind of interest in Red Bank, especially bring us money, that we need to get up, we need to clean up, and we need to show up. And I would have just liked for all 5 commissioners to have been there. So that is my report, and thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Janeau. And next we have a report from Commissioner LeCompte.
I'd like to thank all of the participants for joining in on our commission meeting this evening through the Zoom. And I really don't have a whole lot to say as far as any new to report on. So, but thank you.
All right, and finally, we have our commissioner's report from Commissioner Phillips.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Been really kind of impressed with how much the Zoom meetings have been attended, actually pleasantly surprised. Like to thank, we got the sidewalks almost completed over between Newberry and the completion of that sidewalks. It looks like the construction's about to begin on the sidewalks going to connecting Ashland Terrace and Dayton Boulevard. And, this is part of our job, our purview as commissioners, to make sure we have the infrastructure, we have the parks and the livability. And all of this is all paying off. I just done a quick search over here. Our home prices are up 9.6% over the year before. The time on market was 163 days again last year in January. This year, there's 54 days of housing on market. So we're becoming a very desirable place to be. I keep hearing about all of the boarded up businesses in Red Bank, and I've yet to see any. It looks like everything is pretty much full and or in transition thereof. And then our planning commission has been very busy about, they had their work study today, and they're going over a lot of redesigning and replatting and getting our density to where we need to do it, because we need density to increase our tax bases. We're a landlocked community. We can grow in, we can't grow out. So home prices coming up, and the density makes more tax dollars, which means more services for our constituents. And I'd like to appreciate all of those that served on that board today. That was there's, like I said, there was a lot of activity there today. In fact, it ran over about 1 hour. But I want to appreciate all those that serve. They do it without pay, and they do it as city citizens, and they donate their time. And I'd like to thank each and every one of them. Thank you very much. And that concludes my report.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Phillips. Next, we have the city manager's report. Mr. Thornberry.
Yeah, I'd just like to report tonight for those that have driven by the 3113 Dayton Boulevard site. The demolition is complete. We'll be moving on to the closing procedures to gain ownership of that property. Our leaf collection is winding down. They'll be starting Memorial Drive South and California South here in the next few days. So get those leaves out if you hadn't already. And that's all I have tonight.
All right, and that 3113 Dayton Boulevard is the old car wash between the police station and City Hall.
That's correct.
A lot of citizens have been commenting on its demolition, wondering what's going to go there next. And currently it's going to just be green space for the time being. So let's see, we have unfinished business. Agenda item 20-852, appointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Tim, would you like to introduce this one?
Yes, this is, we received an application. We talked about this in the agenda work section from Karen Ziv. This is her appointment to the Red Bank Zoning Appeals with the vote of you guys tonight.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Dalton. I'll second it. Any discussion or questions for Ms. Ziv?
I'll just give a brief little bio about her, just as far as why I'm appointing or requesting to appoint Ms. Ziv. She's the only person who has filled out an application and applied to be on the Board of Zoning Appeals because she wants to be more engaged in her town's governance. She's lived here for just over a year, has been involved in nonprofits, and it works full time for a nonprofit and is currently going back to school part-time for an accounting degree. I think she'll really offer a nice perspective balancing out short-term cost benefits of variances and zoning rules. So I'm really excited that she reached out and to have her so invested in the community.
Yes. We're excited to have someone who applies, who goes out and finds the application on the website and is passionate about serving our city. Do we have any further questions, thoughts, or from either the commissioners or the citizens? All right. If there are no further comments, Tim, could you call the roll?
Mayor Berry,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Commissioner Janeau,
Yes.
Commissioner LeCompte,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips.
Yes.
Right, motion passes. Welcome, Ms. Ziv, to the Board of Zoning Appeals. We thank you in advance for your service.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have a short one today. New business, we have Resolution 21-1392, adopting a policy regarding agenda item invocation. Tim, would you like to give us a brief?
Yes, this resolution creates a policy of invocation at our city commission meetings. We have looked through it. We went out a mile in each direction of the city and made a list of churches. I believe we came up with 49 churches, other religious organizations, and put that list together, which will be receiving letters and telling them how they need to sign up if they're interested in giving invocation at our commission meetings.
Have a motion?
I move that we approve.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Janeau.
I'll second that.
We have a second from Commissioner Phillips. All right, any discussion, questions, thoughts?
I just wanted to say that I appreciate that this resolution is inclusive of private citizens solemnizing our meetings and having that opportunity, and that even if you attend a congregation or institution outside of Red Bank city limits, that you can request to have that institution added to the religious assemblies list. And that's it. So I feel like this is the most inclusive we possibly could have been. So thank you.
All right. Any other thoughts or discussion from the commission? All right. If there are no more comments from the commission, do we have any citizen comments? Tracy, do we have anybody who has asked to speak on this matter?
Yes, ma'am. I have a Dawn McKenzie first.
Unmute. Let's see. Start.
Mr. McKenzie?
Good evening. This is Don McKenzie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. I just wanted to comment, following up on Commissioner Phillips' observation about the completion of the section of the sidewalks down on near Newberry, and the beginning of the sidewalks on Ashland Terrace, connecting it to Dayton Boulevard. That is a exciting development to me. My wife and I enjoy biking around Red Bank, and we are definitely going to make use of those sidewalks and appreciate them every time we do. That's a sort of livability kind of improvement to the city that we really appreciate the city of Red Bank taking on. So thank you very much for making those important pieces of progress for our city.
Thank you, Mr. McKenzie. We will record your comments. We have we are taking comments right now for items regarding the invocation. we'll have the very next item will be for items not on the agenda. But thank you for your feedback. Before we move on, do we have any citizens who want to comment specifically on the agenda on the invocation policy before we call a vote? Tracy, nobody's in the queue for the invocation policy specifically?
No one is saying they want to talk about that. I'm sorry, Lori just said that she is. So I'll put her on.
Okay.
Oh,
Kyle,
am I let's see. Can you hear me?
yes. And give your first and last, Lori Kyle, and your address.
3406 Reading Road. So thank you all for Zoom meetings, and I also want to also thank you for the best management of the silent moment. I do appreciate the inclusion, and I also would like to know how to have someone for the place that I worship come to deliver the invocation. It is not in Red Bank. However, I would love to have someone speak that I worship with.
Tim, do we have that in place where she can apply?
If you will contact me tomorrow, Lori, I'll get you that information, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments from the citizens regarding the invocation policy?
I just have one asking if the resolution is available for viewing.
Do we have that available, Tim?
Tracy should have had it on the website, under the agenda, so it's viewable, I would think.
Okay. Is it available to put on the screen or no?
I can do it one page at a time.
Okay. I think it's, well, we could probably skip past the first 3 pages of court cases and move to the, I think the 4th page is where the policy begins. But yes, those should be, if you go to the city website under Board of Commissioners and download the agenda, it should have both the agenda for today as well as both resolutions that are being voted on in their full text. So you should be able to download it and read it at your leisure there. The summary is that all the religious organizations in the city limits and within a 1-mile radius of the city limits will receive a letter notifying them that they are eligible to apply to lead a prayer or a dedication or a solemnization of a city meeting, should they so choose. And they can request dates, and they will be accommodated in the order that they apply. And if no one were to be signed up for a particular week, then it will revert to a moment of silence. If somebody has a religious organization outside of the Red Bank city limits or the 1-mile radius, they may apply to have that organization added. And as long as there is one Red Bank citizen who is a member in that organization. I hope that answers if anybody has any further questions about the policy, I'd be happy to try to answer them. All right. Do we have any further citizen comments, Tracy?
I don't think so. The only other person has not responded to if it's about the invocation or not.
Okay. Well, is there any more discussion from the commissioners before we call a vote? All right. Tim, will you go ahead and call the roll for us?
Mayor Barry,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Commissioner Janeau,
Yes.
Commissioner LeCompte,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips.
Yes.
Right. Motion carries. Now is the time for citizen comments for items not on the agenda. We heard from Mr. McKenzie. Mr. McKenzie, if you have anything else you'd like to add, you are welcome to come back on and extend your comments. Do we have anybody else who would like to speak on an item not on the agenda?
Yes, we have Jamie Harvey.
Welcome, Ms. Harvey.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for the input for the invocation. I'll look at it more clearly as we move on. Also wanted to let you know, I met one of the police officers of Red Bank. I was visiting my dad and kept seeing a patrol car on my way, and the gentleman was outside. It's Officer Wilson, and I thanked him for, by the way, my address is 2409 Ashmore Avenue.
Thank you.
And he was familiar with my street. Young man, first time he'd been to Red Bank. So I felt very comforted to meet him and see him as one of Red Bank's employees. Thank you.
Harvey.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments from citizens for items not on the agenda? Tracy, do we have anybody
Nothing
else?
else.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Lori Kyle wants to speak again.
Hey, again, thank you so much. I want to give congratulations to Karen, I believe, for the new zoning volunteer. That's amazing, and thank you. And also the sidewalks. I cannot wait to ride a bike on it. I do have a question concerning when the details are going to go be announced for the space, for the green space, possible green space in the old middle school property.
That is a great question, Ms. Kyle. We are working on a RFP process for public land that we hope to implement in regards to this property that will set a policy for collecting public input and public feedback. That is still being prepared. So as soon as that is available, we hope that that will give a more clear process of how we're going to go about collecting that citizen feedback and what the timeline is going to be for that project. Currently, the property is still under a sewer moratorium and has not been declared surplus. So it's not available for sale and it's not possible to build on it at this time. So that gives us some time to collect that citizen feedback in regards to what the taxpayers want to see built on their property. Does anybody else have anything to add in regards to the middle school green space? All right. Does that answer your question, Ms. Kyle? I hope so. All right. Tracy, do we have any other? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kyle. Tracy, do we have any other citizens who would like to speak?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, if there's no further comments from the citizens, then in that case, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Janeau. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second from Commissioner LeCompte. All in favor? Tim, can you call the roll?
Mayor Berry,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Commissioner Janeau,
Yes.
Commissioner LeCompte,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips.
Yes.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
All right.
Hi, guys.
Good night.